Okay.
But like any, kind of new business, there's times where things are bootstrapped.
What would you say to the employee that is like really trying to get the job done perfectly and they're kind of like beating themselves up a little bit because it's not to the level that they're wanting it?
We kind of have an ethos that as business owners, employees will always disappoint you.
All right, guys, I just wrapped up with my boy Davis from Owner's Pride. Really excited for you guys to listen to this one today. Great conversation. You'll learn a lot about marketing, what it means to have a shop versus mobile, how to run a business, what business ownership actually looks like on the back end, on the front end with customers, hiring, training. I'm really excited about this one, guys. And yeah, go ahead and take a seat, enjoy, get some popcorn. It's a good little deep dive with Davis from Owner's Pride. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and yeah, we'll get right into it. Thanks for joining the podcast
Yeah,
today. First off,
absolutely.
I actually do really appreciate you coming over here. I've been wanting to get into you or Damon's head at some point about some things.
Yeah,
So
no, we're excited.
yeah, I've already learned a lot from you guys, and I'm really excited to just learn some more today.
Yeah,
But yeah, let's go ahead and just start off by asking you, how did Owner's Pride start?
yeah.
Damon, I think is, he's the head honcho, right?
Mhm.
Started it. And then did you tag along? Were you there from the beginning? How did
Yeah,
you
so I
guys?
came in a little bit later on things. Damon actually started Owner's Pride as a shop first. He'd been and timeline wise, I'm not sure. I know he's like got 30 plus years of body and paint work experience, but
Yep.
2014 he started Owner's Pride with Logan, his son, and then operated as a normal detail shop, just like everybody else does.
Hmm.
And about 2018, he kind of had the idea to develop a product line that was more efficient to use, easier to use. I mean, back then, like ceramic coatings were a lock the door, you don't touch your phone. If a customer's walking in, like it's going to mess things up. The process was really arduous. And
Yeah, that's
the other
true.
motivator for him, too, was really wanting to feel like he was treated like a customer. And so 2018, he had managed to kind of make some connections and get with a chemist, and he started developing the product line. So really, the whole thing was designed for our shop first. 2020, once things were kind of really scaled up, and as far as like, hey, we've got more than just a couple of products, right? Actually took the product to market nationally, which 2020 was a terrible year to
Yeah.
start. Like they
Oh yeah.
launched it in January. About November of 2020 is when I came on, and I came on just to do photo video work. I had actually kind of decided in January, like I love shooting cars. I want to start, getting into that more in the like photography world. There's not a lot of money just shooting friends' cars and things like that because
Yeah.
everybody's got a camera on their phone.
For sure. I feel like everyone also wanted to be photographer, videographer at
Oh
some point in
yeah,
their life. I don't know what it is. Like
yeah, and
everyone wants to try it.
my background is in marketing and media. That's what I went to college for,
Okay. Nice.
and was doing stuff in the youth sports programming and fitness and bodybuilding world. And it was a blast, but I just kind of got bored, and then COVID happened, and that was all I could do was shoot cars because car
Hmm.
events were like the only thing still going on.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was really one of those situations where I was like, I like this, but how do I make money? So I started kind of putting myself out there freelancing, and that's how I ended up with Owner's Pride. And I actually asked for a job.
Okay. So
I
you just
saw what Damon was
walked in
doing,
and
saw the products. Yeah, I like cleaning my own car. I probably spent an insane amount of money on product that was consumer grade, which isn't always the best.
yeah, it
It's cheap,
stacks up.
but it's not the best. And so seeing a product line that really worked, it was like, oh, this is exciting, really good group of guys, and
Yeah.
so that's kind of when I came on with the product side.
That's very cool. Honestly, like every question I had in my head, totally out the window now because I just want to know so much more
Yeah,
based on what you just said. So I'm going to ask you different
yeah,
questions.
that's fine.
Yeah, first off, how old were you when you were starting to film for Damon? Were you pretty young
So
or
2020, I'm 32 now, so it's like 25, 26.
okay?
Yeah.
Were you at all like nervous to work for a company? Or is that pretty natural for you?
No, I've been doing that for a while.
Okay, nice.
As far as and like at that point, I was working full time too with a nonprofit that one of my friends had started, and he and I like kind of day one on that, but he was in the soccer space doing youth after school sports programs. And
Gotcha.
Graham, shout out to him. He was probably the first person I've ever like really learned things from, as far as just a different mindset. He was very like, I'm gonna figure it out and do it. And so yeah, he and I started. I think we had like 2 or 3 schools that we'd drive, coach kids, and now and it still is. I'm no longer with them, but
Mm,
Nebraska's largest youth after school sports program. So
okay.
had some experience doing
I'm sorry, what was the name
different things.
of it?
Future Kids.
Future
Yeah.
Kids.
So
Okay,
it's
I
a
was wondering because my stepdad does a lot of that stuff too,
cool.
like with the kids doing
Yeah.
sports, not camera stuff.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, I was just
Yeah, no, it's
curious.
a cool program. Helps serve a lot of like underprivileged communities and things like that, both
Very
in
cool.
like the Omaha area and then like rural Nebraska as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So did you stay doing camera this whole entire time? Have you switched into more like management role at
Yeah,
the shop?
so my roles kind of changed quite a bit. Kind of at one point, so stayed on kind of doing marketing media, and then Damon's son Logan and I, we actually shared an office together, and so we would do a lot of on the product side, kind of the back end, making sure the website's running, fixing things, helping figure out like order issues while shooting different content. And I'm just somebody that, like, if you need a hand, whatever the business needs, I'll do
Mhm.
it. I always joke, like, if Damon said like the way we're gonna make a ton of money is like standing outside shaking a sign, like I'd okay,
It would work.
like if it works, then let's do it. But
Yeah.
um, so really kind of got involved in a lot of different aspects of the business. His son Logan decided he wanted to get into. He really phenomenal with data, and ended up deciding like, hey, I really want to just find something doing data analytics full time. And so when he left the business, Damon kind of was like, hey, would you want to? Because at that time Logan was also kind of running things with the shop, and
Mm.
he asked if I wanted to come in and help out at the shop and kind of take over on things. And
So
so I said, yeah.
how did Damon afford, and you can share as little or as much as
Yeah.
you want. How did he afford employees that were such high level like you, or the data analytics guy, or the employees doing cars? Like, was it always like that, or what is it kind of a slow
The
roll?
the easy part with Logan is his son, so like it was father and son business kind of at first. By the time I was around the shop, and we kind of always maintained around this level, but I think he had like 4 or 5 guys with him.
Okay.
But like any kind of new business, there's times where things are bootstrapped. Where even my time with OP, where we were versus where we are now.
Yeah.
Um, has been a crazy growth. And we just try to surround ourselves with good people that kind of make it work. The shop and the product line are actually 2 separate businesses entirely, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
We keep it that way, mostly because if it doesn't work for our shop, I can't expect my product to work for another business.
Mhm. Yeah. When you have to
And the fact
profit,
that's
like,
well, and that's exclusively what we
yeah,
utilize
yeah,
for our shop. And so yeah, I mean it's kind of interesting. They both go really hand in hand with each
okay.
other. But yeah, as far as scaling up, the shop has its side of things that it scales up with. Product side has its side. So it's you know kind of interesting just how different the two worlds are, but they're also very enmeshed.
Yeah, I'm sure you can find a good way to combine those two. I remember maybe a couple years ago, I was looking into the product line stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and for me personally, it was really hard for me to like balance my mobile detailing,
Mm-hmm.
wanting to scale like multiple vans and also sell a bunch of products.
Yep.
I had to find private label, had to do all that stuff,
Yep.
come up with graphics, and then not only that, but then you got to actually find people who want your products.
Yeah.
And because I was so small and new, it was like impossible for me to sell them.
Yeah.
So I sell them to family and things like that. Eventually, I kind of like put it to the side. I still have some interest in it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd ever do my own thing, but I'd probably look at maybe other companies who sell theirs already, like
Yeah.
yours, or I don't know if you know CDS. They're really awesome out here,
Mm-hmm.
Custom Dealer Solutions. They have some private label stuff too. But for me personally, I put it on hold. But I'm curious to know how you guys. You said they're completely different, but they mesh. How did you guys balance the two types of
Yeah.
businesses? And
So where they kind of so like with our all of our products, we actually developed them. We have a chemist that we work with, and that development process on it. And so like that's kind of the neat thing. Like there's a lot of stuff that's private labeled out of things. For us, when we're developing our products, we actually run them through the shop usually about
That is
six
really cool,
months
actually.
prior to
Yeah.
us even, you know, if it's a new product,
Hmm.
we're using it in the shop for about 6 months before we're ever actually selling it. Because if it
Hmm.
doesn't work for us, then, you know, how can we sell and distribute it? And so the that's really kind of where some of those things become enmeshed or intertwined. I mean, we'll get, if somebody's having a product issue halfway across the country, Damon will call me up. Hey, are you guys seeing this? You know, what's this? How can we test? How can we compare? And really take care of a customer on a problem rather than just being like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is one of those things where it's like, okay, let's talk through your humidity issues that you might be having. I mean, we're not climate controlled for summer at our shop, and so like
Oh,
we
really?
get
I know
crazy
that.
humidity. So
Dang, that's tough.
when we get guys down south that are having a coating issue and they're wondering about controlling for humidity, great, we can help answer that because
Yeah.
it's hot and humid in our shop.
Oh, wow. I did
Yeah.
not know that.
Yep.
Okay. So as far as your preference, do you think like products is more your cup of tea? Do you like the shop, being able to be hands-on with the guys there? Is there one
Yeah.
one side you favor?
It's, I don't know. I've got such a love for both of them. Realistically, the product side is kind of long term because for us, ideally on the model that we have, eventually I would like to scale up and out of the shop. And some of that's
Yeah.
just proof and concept for some of the different coaching and training things that we offer, and
Okay.
being able to show like, hey, we've got a model here that Damon was able to separate out of the business. He's still involved in the business, but down in South Carolina, you know.
Why,
And
why don't you share a little bit about that right there, the
yeah,
courses and the coaching? Because I didn't know you guys did that. I'm sure
yeah.
there's someone that would be interested in learning about that.
So a lot of it right now is like, whether it's myself, Damon, anybody else on like the product side team, we try to make ourselves really accessible. I don't know of many other product, you know, companies that the owner of the business gives out his phone number as freely as
Yeah.
Damon does. I
Hell
mean,
yeah,
like
dude.
if you have an issue, you can,
Personable guy
yeah,
right
you
there.
can text him, you know, call him. He might not be able to get to you right away, but he gets back to you quick. Same
Yeah.
with myself. Um, and so, you know, we try to be as accessible as possible on things. Really just so that if people have issues, we can help them out.
So are you kind of having is your goal to get people to join your course so they can sell
Oh yeah,
products on their
courses. Sorry. So
own?
yeah, with the courses. We're ramping up a lot more training on paint protection film,
Okay, so
tint,
it's everything.
everything. Right now,
Gotcha.
eventually, and we do integrate like a lot of the business coaching sort of things in those different trainings as far as um, how to help people out. We right now we're kind of tentatively planning doing some different content, talking about it more. But as far as, you know, right now, it's, we get guys that reach out to us. Hey, I've got, you know, some packages in mind that I'm trying to offer. What do you think? Damon will kick that over to me, or different like design stuff, or if they're, I mean, shoot, even just life. You know, how
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
I'm growing the business. It's going well, but how do I start to make more time for myself? And that's where we try to be like really accessible on those sorts of things and be an open line. But, you know, we do have kind of some hopes to start doing a little bit more, you know, training and coaching opportunities for the business side, or at least content that we can put out, because I don't think what we do is crazy radical, you know. I think we all see like the bad ads where it's like, I'm going to tell you how to 10x your detailing
For
business, and
sure.
realistically it's, you're not going to 10x your business overnight, but how can
Yeah,
we be
yeah.
there as a resource to help? And, you know, or if somebody's trying to figure out, how do I add PPF or tint into my business, how do I go from a mobile detailer to a shop, we have a huge network of people that are super helpful.
Mhm.
And sometimes guys just ask questions in the forums, and then sometimes we talk one-on-one with people on just like, hey, this is what we've done. We don't know if it's the right answer for you, but it can be a huge help on someone going like, okay, yeah, no, I like that little nugget of information. Or some guys are like, yeah, and I'm not going to do it that way, and that's fine too.
Yeah, yeah. So do you fly people out for training? How does that work?
Um,
Is it all
so
video?
we just did a training actually in Denver at we actually partnered with Roops,
Okay, sick.
the polisher
Yeah, yeah.
manufacturer, and so
It's not Rupes?
it's Roops apparently.
Wow.
I always thought it was
I've
Rupes
always
or
said
yeah,
Rupes. Okay,
Rupees.
noted.
Yeah,
Roops.
Roops is apparently the correct way to do it, which was a sweet opportunity. They did a little bit of a paint correction training with it, and then we did PPF.
That's very cool.
So we're hoping it'd be really awesome to get to go do more through their facility there because it's a
Great exposure.
cool spot. We've got some things I think that we're looking at planning for fall, hopefully as well, and we're
Okay.
trying to do it more around the country because Omaha is really hard to fly into from certain places,
Hmm.
so that's
Hmm.
been always the challenge. But our shop, we always invite people if they want to pop by, check out what we're doing, ask
Yeah,
questions.
yeah. I can
Um,
attest to that. Yeah. I've
yeah,
been there a few
yeah,
times.
yeah. If,
Yeah.
we're I had one installer of ours that like was on a family road trip, and they were just, hey, I happen to be driving through Omaha, and I wanted to stop by and say hey, and I was like, oh,
That's cool.
cool. I let me deliver this customer's car, and then we'll absolutely chat and check out the shop, and
That's really cool.
yeah,
Did you guys feel the shift between your brand level up? Like, you start off not many people know who you are. Then you have a bunch of people like interested in stopping by and saying hi, and
yeah,
you're building that network. People know who you are. Like, I would love to hear a little bit about how you guys changed your branding to get people like that.
yeah. It's actually it's weird because we have to maintain both brands.
Yeah, for sure.
The SEO for the shop has to exist independently because they're separate websites.
Hmm.
If you land on ownerspride.com, it is all of our product stuff.
Yeah, I've noticed when I Google you guys, it
Shop
takes
comes
me
up.
there. No, it takes
Oh,
me to the product one
really?
most of the
Oh,
time.
cool.
Yeah.
That's good because it's been a battle of ours.
Okay. Yeah.
Just because the shop had been around for so much longer, it has a lot bigger SEO ranking. So
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting to know. Um, so yeah, we really kind of try to maintain both. We sell products through the shop. So if people locally do want to pick up stuff, they can. It's mostly like our retail line that we stock, but it's kind of interesting because I think it's very easy to run a business and you're so focused on your business, but the amount of people that like, oh, I didn't even know you guys were here. And it's like, well, we've been in Omaha since
Yeah. I
2014,
mean, you are kind
and
of like tucked in that parking or that shopping area a little bit.
yeah, like it's a little
But you have that big
little off.
OP,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
But and it's what's interesting with like I think detailing in general is there is a huge demand for it. Um, the pie is big. You run
For
a
sure.
detail shop yourself, and like I don't view you as like competition. I view you as somebody that like we can chat and talk and
Yeah, yeah.
and um, have a good discourse.
Yeah.
Which as somebody who came from outside this industry is really cool. Honestly, that you are doing stuff like this because
Yeah.
I think a lot of our industry is very like I can do it better
Very,
and
very true, man. I,
it's
I noticed that early on. And
yeah
actually, when I first talked to Damon, that was what I told him on the phone was like, hey, I don't know much about you. Funny story, I got a box from someone of your guys' products. And I remember opening it up and it was like pearlescent bottles, all this stuff looked really cool and modern and sleek.
yeah
And so that's what interested me in like calling you guys. But so I called him and right away I was like, hey, I know this is kind of weird. We're competition, but my name's Christian. I own Prima Mobile Detailing. I'm pretty new to this. I would love to like just chat and like get to know the detailing industry. And then Damon gave me his wisdom and
yeah
knowledge, and instantly I knew it could go that direction too. You could have either conversations with people that do detailing and it's awkward because they don't want to give you any tips and
yeah
tricks, or there's people like you guys who want to help the community grow. I think there is a shift when you get to a point like that, and it's helpful for everyone trying to start that type of a business. But anyways, Damon was a good representation of what I wanted the mobile detailing community to be like. So I was glad that he was that way. I was kind of afraid that getting into this industry and like seeing the things on YouTube that it was going to be kind of cutthroat. Like
Yeah.
everyone's going to hate you
Oh, and
if you're
it
a
can be.
detailer.
It
Yeah,
can be.
yeah,
I mean, it's weird. There's corners of detailing that I'm like, oh, this is crazy.
yeah.
I jokingly told Damon, and well, it was very serious though. It's like if I ever left OP, Damon, you made me. When I came onto the product side, it was like, yeah, I signed a non-compete agreement. I think if I ever leave OP, like you don't need to worry about that because I
Uh-huh.
think I'll be out of the detailing world.
Yeah,
Because it's just there's aspects of it that aren't great, which isn't
yeah,
like I said. There's so much work out there for everybody,
for
um,
sure.
to where
Even in Omaha,
yeah,
it's smaller than most places,
and
but
we've
there's
we've had
plenty.
those awkward like customer moments where they got work done at somebody else's shop and they weren't happy, and
And then
you
you hear
know,
the name of the company and you're
well,
like,
and we immediately just don't dog on it.
yeah.
For us, it's like, well, hey, did you give them an opportunity to make this right? Because
Mm,
I would hope that my guys aren't perfect. People make mistakes.
yeah,
Hey, it happens. I would hope that another shop would ask that customer the same thing.
for sure.
And well, no. Okay, great. Go talk to them. If you really are get to a point of frustration, but if you haven't even mentioned to them that you're unhappy with the service, then go do that first. And a lot of that's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
because we've all been there when that bad review happens or that bad customer interaction happens, and if they go to another place and they just dog them, well, that's not cool.
yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
it's just way better to give that person the opportunity to redeem themselves because every shop's going to make mistakes. I
for
don't care how
sure.
long you've been in business, that's going to happen.
Yeah, and it kind of gives you a kind of like a warning of that customer's personality. Like,
A
do
little
I
bit,
even want to
a
have
little
this
bit.
customer? Like, are they gonna like my work?
Yeah,
So that's a great approach. Yeah, I respect that. That's definitely a hard thing to do. I'm sure as a business owner, you want to keep all the clients. Sometimes you don't want to share all the time, but I think there is a balance between respect and having good morals
yeah.
versus like taking care of yourself too in your
And
business.
detailing has a lot of ego.
For sure.
Because there is a huge amount of it that is a art and a craft.
Hmm.
And again, as somebody who's I now at this point can say like I've got some pretty good detailing chops, but that's
Yeah.
not my background. I didn't start out as a great paint corrector or anything crazy like that. And there is an art form to it. And unfortunately, we see a lot of really good detailers
Hmm.
let ego and different choices get in the way of them running a really good detailing business, and their
For
business goes
sure.
out of business, which isn't is never fun to see. But that kind of craft side of it and the ego side of it can also become, oh, I'm the best at this, nobody can do
Yeah.
this better than me.
And if you
And
if you're thinking that way every day, you're gonna burn out
yeah,
because you're gonna overwork yourself for
you're gonna
something that's not really attainable.
you're going to overwork yourself, or from the running your business side, if you're chasing down every little surface mar, if you're making sure if you're going through with tweezers and getting every single dog
For
hair out of
sure.
a vehicle, you're actually going to have your business go down because you're killing your
Sure.
profit margins,
Yeah.
and it's not that it's all about that, but at the end of the day, if you're trying to pay bills, profits matter.
So what would you say, because I've experienced this recently, what would you say to the employee that is like really trying to get the job done perfectly and they're kind of like beating themselves up a little bit because it's not to the level that they were wanting it?
Yeah.
Like how do you teach them like, yes, you want it to look really good for the customer, you want it to be presentable,
Hmm.
do quality service, but then
Yeah.
there is sometimes that you can't get everything out. You can't
Yeah.
get all the dog hair, you can't get the perfect shine on every single spot of the car all the time.
I think one thing that helps quite a bit, and we've had that with different employees over the years. One thing that helps quite a bit is helping them understand, and for us, just as far as like our model, we are very front of house, back of house. It's our front of house team that's taking care of sales, delivering the customer vehicles, all that stuff. And so telling them, hey, this is our expectation. This is what we've communicated with the customer. You know, if there's something that, yep, we took a look at it, it's pretty hammered, the customer's very aware, we're not going to get everything out, and that's okay. You know, one, communicating what the expectations on the job you sold was, but then kind of helping them see like, hey, if you got it to 98% in, you know, whatever time frame, let's say an hour, that extra 2% for an additional 2 hours really doesn't do anybody any good.
Yeah.
You know, it kills efficiency for the business. In some instances, you know, our paint correction process, it's a day process. It's a drop off in the morning, pick up the next morning for our corrections and coatings. And for quite a while there, like, and still occasionally now, but for quite a while, people are like, oh, I thought you needed my car for like days. And it's like, oh no, we've got efficiency down with our product line, with our system, that I don't need to hold on to your car for days. And most of the customers are like, oh, that's awesome. You know, they want their car back at some point, so you can't hold it forever. And you know, it's something we use. We use opportunities like timers, and not even, you know, we're not counting down for the guys. You know, if we've got somebody that's new in training and we're trying to help them work on those efficiency things, we start a clock just so they're aware of how much time they're spending on it. You know, on the polishing side of the world, they call it, you know, getting lost in the paint, where they're just chasing every scratch, chasing every swirl, and you know, just even having that clock on them going like, oh my god, I'm a quarter way through the car and I've been on this thing for an hour and a half. You know, and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing kind of depends on the car, but you know, it allows them to be aware of where they're at. Checking in too is huge with your guys, and just like, hey, how's it going? What do you have left? You know, where are you at? Finding that little thing that you can be like, oh, dude, you did really awesome on this, or hey, we really got to kind of pick up the pace a little bit. We've got some other things to do on the day.
So I've been doing timers with my guys too on the CRM I got, and I love, if you know anything about like KPIs, it's something I've been really hammering lately. Just teaching the guys their performance indicators and what tells me they're doing good. And so the timer has been huge for me too. Kind of showing them, you know, this shouldn't take this long, or this was way too fast. Like, you should have taken longer. Kind of finding the fine line in that. And so as far as that goes, like, how do you approach them with those conversations? Is it right then and there? Do you guys have meetings and talk about it?
I'm very lucky that the team that I've got, pretty much just about everybody's been with me for at least 5 years, if not longer. I've got one guy that's newer. He's about 2 years in, but he was a customer with us for 2 years prior, and was like, hey, I want to make a life change. You got anything open? I was like,
that's awesome.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Nice. And I've got a part-time guy that started this year, but a lot of it's just having, you know, we've got a really good rapport around, like, we can have constructive conversations that aren't, you know, I can correct and get my point across without it being overly critical, harsh, you know. Like, talking to some guys, you know, in the industry, and they're like, I have a hard time keeping people, and it's like, well, it's either going to come down to how you treat them. If you're paying them well enough, you know, it's really that simple. And a lot of times when it comes to the kind of how do you train somebody, how do you develop them, if you want people, you know, the carrot and stick approach, we're always much more carrot, much more friendly. There does come a point where a serious conversation might have to happen, but it's been a long time coming. If my guys make a mistake, we talk about it. We discuss, you know, hey, here's where this issue disappointed the customer. Here's how we can do it better. We also, for us on redos, we actually have a different policy than probably most places. So, like, if something's coming back in for a second look, the guy that originally worked on the car gets communicated on what the issue was, or what, you know, where even if it's something that wasn't missed, it's just re-looking at a scratch or whatever. I actually have somebody else work on it.
Really? Okay. What's the reason for that?
Main reason is, we've all been there where we made a mistake and we're pissed off and we're frustrated, or, it's uh, that car that you paint corrected as well as you could and you knew you did,
So
and
you
that
want to
person
take
wasn't
care of their
having.
minds, like help them kind of
Yeah,
have
and
some peace there.
and there's
Yeah.
nothing like in my mind, like if they're already mad, like, God, this guy's bringing this thing back and
Uh,
I spent all day on it and they're not happy. Great, now they're gonna take a polisher to a car. Nah,
yeah.
I'd rather, because they're more likely to make a more severe mistake, and
Okay.
so we communicate the issue and somebody else works on it. I've got plenty of capable hands in the building. Um, we try not to beat them down over it. It's like, hey, we all make mistakes. Let's do better next time.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, your scene's a little different too because they're in a shop and they have their other team members that see the mistakes and
Yep.
hear the criticism or whatever, you know.
Yeah, and we use it as a
So
chance for everybody to grow
for
and
sure.
see what's possible.
Yeah. I guess yeah, that's the first time I've ever heard that.
Yeah.
I do I guess kind of similar, except I do have them do the work again. The way we do it because we're now commission
Mhm.
is like if they mess up on something or something wasn't up to par to the customer. First off, and I talked about this in the last video. First off, we try to keep it foolproof by having them walk it with the customer and
Yeah.
ask or walk the vehicle with the customer and ask them, is there anything that you want us to do while we're still here? Is there anything I missed? Let me know. I'll take care of it. So it's crazy though. Even with that, they still have callbacks. Like they
Yep.
still get callbacks. So
It's gonna
I
happen.
have them do it another day, and then they've learned from that. And you touched on this too, but I think paying them more money and giving them some rewards if they're doing really
Yeah.
good is super
Incentives.
helpful.
Yeah, and it can be simple things. It doesn't always have to be anything crazy. It can be um, genuinely asking them, even if you know the answer, but hey, they got this crazy stain out. Man, how'd you get that out?
Yeah.
Talk to me about it. And they get excited, and
sure.
we do random things. We'll get food for the guys or whatever,
Yeah.
and just try to create a place that they want to come to work at. Which is part of why we've retained guys as long as we have. Realistically,
That's good.
is that they like where they work, and
Yeah.
I get told often, "You're lucky I like you." So
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. So with the employees and all that, how do you do the quality control side of it? How do you do the systems and all that? Like how do you keep them working at your level that you want
Yeah.
for the shop and keep that brand and culture?
So we've got a mantra. My
Okay.
employees know this mantra, so it's not anything bad because it's going to sound real bad at first. But we kind of have an ethos that as business owners, employees will always disappoint you,
That is
and
true though.
well, and it's not as a, it sounds very negative. It sounds like, oh gosh, they're just going to constantly make mistakes and create issues.
Yeah.
But it's a reminder for ourselves. It's a check for ourselves to say, you've put a lot of sweat equity, a lot of money into running this business. You care about this business probably close to, any other thing in the world as much as you do your kids and your wife. It's the next on the list after them.
Sure.
And the reality is your employees are not going to. They're not going to
Yeah.
have that same energy and passion, as passionate as they can be. At the end of the day, it is a job.
Yeah.
And so having that and setting your expectations for yourself allows you to then create the checklists, then create the processes that are going to work. Because, yeah, they're going to make mistakes. They're going to want to cut out early if they have a chance to, and oh man, they didn't drain out the buckets, or their truck doesn't look good, that sort of stuff. Things aren't organized the way that you want it to be because you are the business owner.
For sure.
They just want to go home and see their families and enjoy their weekend and all that stuff. And so keeping that in mind really helps us deal with those situations. If I see that something wasn't tidied up and put away right at the end of the day, I'm not texting them right then.
Mhm.
We'll talk about it later. Hey guys, by the way, we need to make sure that we're getting X, Y, or Z handled before we cut out. Thanks.
Mhm.
But really, process wise, we have a checklist that the guys, it's got all the customer information, what they're working on, intake side. We ask every person, hey, is there anything in particular that you're concerned with on your vehicle? We make sure to make note of that. And from there, my guys, because there is as kind of keyed into their day to day as possible, they run their days pretty well. I don't have to micromanage much. There's some days that, hey, we've got a lot on the books, and we kind of go into I'm going to expedite today, right? Like I'm the one making sure that everything is going to be moving.
Yeah.
Normally, I need you guys thinking for yourselves. Today, you're not thinking for yourself. Today, we're going to be hopping around doing different things. Don't worry about the calendar. The day's going to get done, and the day usually runs smooth. But those are pretty rare that we're having to pull that out. But for the most part, they know their day. They know the expectations. Periodically checking in with them. Seeing where they're at. For us, we average 250 appointments a month, and I've got 4 guys in the back that are, doing kind of the detail side, and 1 guy doing PPF. 3.5 because one of them's part time. But a lot of that is a lot of managing that day with that lean of a team comes down to checking in. Okay, sweet. We've got a wash coming in. These 2 guys are buried on details that are insane. I'm going to let them stay focused on that and get that next wash to one of the other guys on the team.
Okay.
And so being aware of what's going on back there, checking in, as much as we have like front of house, back of house, it's not a job where you're sitting there up front all day. It's checking in with them. Sometimes if I'm working on the product side and trying to figure out how to solve an issue with our website and I need a 5-minute brain break, I'll just start vacuuming something. And they're like, why? Day's going fine. Why are you grabbing a vacuum? Like, I just need to think.
I gotta get out of the office.
Yeah, I need to think through a tech
breathe.
problem. Let me just vacuum something.
Dude, I get that. I feel that. Yeah.
But yeah, and then with the checklists, they have their start time that they write down on it, end time. So we'll kind of aggregate that. Sometimes do. We've got our process down pretty smooth, but there's been times in the past where we've done like a time study where we're looking at, okay, what are the jobs that are costing us the most time, that sort of stuff. So having that information is useful. And then the big thing and this is a Damon thing really, and I love it, is we have them sign their name at the end of it.
Checklist?
Yeah, at the end of the checklist, they sign off at the end.
I like that.
And
it's kind of accountability.
Accountability, it's them saying, hey, I'm proud of the work that I did today. And they might not necessarily think about it that way, but we've had times where we've had somebody that was struggling, kind of having some consistent issues, and we've been like, look, man, you signed your name at the bottom of this. Like, you're saying you did these things and you didn't. Yeah. And help us think through that. Like, what's that kind of say about you right now, and what you're saying? Like, you're kind of not caring about what you're doing. And the realization for them was like, oh my god, like, you're right. Like, they're like, yeah, I did put my name on that, and I'm not proud of the work that I did.
One of the shifts I had in my training process that was definitely a game changer is instead of telling them how to do something after their first time of trying it, like having them step back and asking them, what do you think is missed?
Yep.
What do you see that you did not hit?
Yeah.
Because I see stuff. Just look a little harder. I promise you'll find it.
Yeah.
And then it shifts something in their brain where it's like they go from the basic way of looking at the car to, oh, there's like way more little areas of this car that I can probably hit because he's seeing it. Yeah. Instead of me just showing them, because if I'm showing them, a lot of the times I realized I thought everyone's a visual learner, but some people need to like have that thought process a little bit deeper, and so they need to try to figure it out for themselves instead of me just showing them. So that's helped a lot. And it's kind of similar to what you're doing because it's like a brain trick almost. Some people need that. And I've learned too with employees, everyone learns differently too. Like some people like the criticism without the positive feedback. Some people need both.
Yeah.
Some people need none of it. Like otherwise they'll just beat up on themselves. Yeah. So yeah, that's
I've
cool.
got a guy that it's kind of funny. Will be like, hey, I'm gonna give you some feedback, and I barely have to give him the feedback, and I'm telling him like, hey, don't beat yourself up on this the rest of the day. Like,
you can already tell he's like,
oh yeah, like, I mean, he takes it, which is great. He takes it very personal because he takes pride in his work.
For sure.
But yeah, there's definitely, it's like, oh yeah, I can't. He's not somebody I can like. The bullying approach wouldn't not work at all, which doesn't work for anybody. But
Yeah.
you got to be very careful on going too hard in the paint with
For
feedback
sure.
on him.
Yeah, yeah, and your employees are arguably the most important part of your company. I mean, it's the
Yeah,
only way you're going to scale is if you take care of them and
yeah,
grow them as
yeah.
individuals.
They keep that machine running. I mean, that is um, the big thing. I mean, without them, we're not what we are,
Yeah,
realistically.
for sure. I do want to circle back real quick to the products that you guys sell.
Yeah,
So I know that you guys have people around the world selling them for you on videos because I've seen a couple.
yeah.
How did you guys start distributing out to people around the world? How did people find you?
Yeah, so we very fortunate. Blake, who's Damon's partner on the product side, he's also kind of does our Canadian distribution stuff. But a lot of it was just going to some different events, meeting some different people, being open minded to kind of new ideas. So we do distribution in Canada and Mexico right now, predominantly.
Okay, Mexico, really?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool.
So that's kind of neat. It's a little tough shipping stuff down there sometimes, but
Is it expensive shipping it over there at all?
um, yeah, it's just complicated. There's usually something that goes wrong when we're trying to get it down to our distributor.
Cartels
But
still in your
yeah,
guys' boxes?
yeah, Lord only knows. It's like
Cut that out. I don't want cartel find me, bro.
yeah,
Just
that'd be bad.
take it back.
But no, it's kind of neat. We always for a number of years now we've been a key sponsor at Mobile Tech Expo, which actually started as a PDR show, and the detailing and PPF and tint guys
Really?
have kind of. I think this last year was the first year that there were more detailing businesses going than PDR, and it's been slowly creeping up year over year. But that's a phenomenal. I always tell people, like, if you want to go to a convention that is very industry focused, has education days that are actually going to be useful to you in your business, go to Mobile Tech, like
Okay.
well over SEMA.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask how does it compare?
Yeah, SEMA's cool. If you're a manufacturer, I mean, we always get asked, like, are you guys gonna ever have a booth at SEMA? And we kind of don't want to,
Yeah. That's
because
expensive too.
oh,
It's
it's
crazy expensive.
insane. But you know, and I've been to SEMA, and the detailing portion of it is like a small corner of
Really?
what SEMA is. So I say, like, if you want to,
Because I was thinking about going. I told Caitlin, my
if
wife,
you
I
want a
wanna
tax
go.
write-offable vacation, go to SEMA.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
go check it out. Go have fun. It is a blast. I mean, some of the cars I saw there, I'll never see again in my life, which was super cool. But as far as, like, if you're looking for something cool, like to actually change your business, and gain something, meet some new people, Mobile Tech,
And where's that again?
down in Orlando.
Orlando.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Caitlin goes there all the time.
Yeah.
She would definitely go.
Yeah, it's
Sick.
a great time. But so going to things like that, Paolo, who runs, and he's got a partner up there, but we've got a shop in Canada, that's an Owner's Pride shop. He's very big and connected in with, like, the IDA, so you get to meet a lot of people on it, and it is really cool. Same with, it's no different on the shop side as it is on the product side, where you've got some different cliques, you've got some people that have some egos that don't want to work well with others, and then you've got a lot of people and companies and brands out there that are phenomenal, and great. We're in the same space, and we think we've got good products. You guys think you've got good products, and but how can we find opportunities to collaborate, like with doing Roops? When we were out there, we couldn't talk about any of our compound or pads, which was fine. We could talk about any of our other
There's
products.
always one thing.
Yeah,
Like, that's ours.
But yeah, and they were gracious enough to host us. So heck yeah, and we've got our new compound coming out. So we had a lot of people that were asking about it, and it was like my response to them was like, Roops has been very nice to host us, so we'll talk about this later. And they're like, gotcha.
Just give me a week.
Yeah, just later.
For sure. Yeah. Well, cool, man. I think we covered a lot.
Yeah,
I really
no,
appreciate
I
you
appreciate you
sharing
having
all
me
this,
on.
dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have easily gatekeeped all this. So
Oh no,
I do appreciate it. Yeah, if you could give, like, maybe one or two tips to anyone watching shop or mobile as a business, owner, what would be like a couple things that you think people should definitely know going into owning a business?
Um, I think a lot of it is just, man, that one's a tough one.
It's deep
The
question.
nugget, yeah, the nuggets of advice. No, I mean, I think it's um, with the customer side of things. They are why you're in business. Um, it's okay to fire a customer at the same time too, though. Like
Mm,
if there are, we've all found ourselves in those situations where their expectations versus reality, or what they're willing to spend on something doesn't align. But at the same time, we're nothing without our customers.
yeah,
Customer disappoints are going to happen. A bad review is going to happen on your Google. It's not gonna make or break your business, but how you handle that situation will.
for sure.
And so really keeping things customer focused, keeping it on, um, putting out as good of a product as you reasonably can while still making money is kind of everything. Because that customer, if they're not coming back, then they're not gonna, you're not gonna have a business. They're
Yeah,
not gonna tell people. And that's something that's huge for us, both on the product side and the shop side. We're nothing without our customers,
for
and
sure.
that's something that's big. We constantly try to keep that in mind on
Yeah.
it. And then on the kind of individual side of it is, that ego part of
Hmm.
things. A big driver for kind of Damon and I's success as a team is how can we get to know people that are in the industry that are good? How can we um, make sure that we're treating employees with respect and getting out of our way and letting our employ or out of our
Mm,
own way and letting
that's
employees
good.
shine?
Yeah,
Because if you have a big ego, you're gonna stay a one man operation. You're
yeah,
gonna
for sure.
constantly battle
Yeah,
battle that thing, and so we're nothing without our customers and our employees.
for sure.
Like that's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
So I hope that answered that
No, yeah, that did.
decent.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Cool. Well, thanks, man.
yeah,
I appreciate you hopping on here
yeah.
again.
You'll
If
have
you guys
to
ever
have
want
me back
to,
on. We'll
yeah,
talk
yeah.
marketing stuff. I'd be
Oh, for
down
sure.
because
Yeah.
that's definitely as far as wheelhouse and just different ideas and
Yeah, I
bouncing
definitely
things.
want to pick your brain on that maybe
Yeah,
one on one at some point because there's a lot of that I want to learn for
yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Awesome. Thanks,
Cool,
Christian.
bro.
Appreciate it.